The jurisdiction of a court refers to the power and authority it is given to decide cases. The Supreme Court's jurisdiction is provided in Section 5, Article 8 of the 1987 Constitution. The Supreme Court has two kinds of jurisdiction, original and appellate.
The original jurisdiction of the court means that it can take on any petition, any challenge to any law, rule, ordinance, or even decision where it is filed directly with the Supreme Court. It generally involves issues involving grave abuse of discretion on the part of any branch, instrumentality, or agency of government, which may include the executive branch as well as the legislative branch. This power is provided under Article 8, Section 1, Paragraph 2 of the 1987 Constitution. Its appellate jurisdiction would involve petitions or appeals from the third-level courts, which are the Court of Appeals, the Court of Tax Appeals, the Sandigan Bayan, and this would involve review of decisions and judgments rendered by these courts of the third level.
The same section enumerates the following as falling within the appellate jurisdiction. All cases in which the constitutionality or validity of any treaty, international or executive agreement, law, presidential decree, proclamation, order, instruction, ordinance, or regulation is in question. The most common approach by which a case reaches the Supreme Court is through an appeal from a decision rendered by a lower court. Appealed cases generally originate from lawsuits or criminal indictments filed and tried before the trial courts. The Supreme Court also has the power to issue writs and processes under special rules like the rules on the writ of amparo, habeas data, and kalikasan. These decisions of the trial courts may then be elevated on appeal to the Court of Appeals. The other mode by which a case reaches the Supreme Court is through an original petition filed directly with the Supreme Court. Apart from the decisions of the Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court may also directly review on appeal decisions rendered by the Sandigan Bayan and the Court of Tax Appeals. The court has concurrent jurisdiction with the lower courts to hear petitions for certiorari, prohibition, mandamus, quo warranto, and habeas corpus. One of these courts is the Court of Appeals.
The Court of Appeals is the primary appellate court in the Philippines. It exercises appellate jurisdiction over judgments of the courts of the second level, which are the RTCs. It is presided over by a presiding justice. It has stations in Manila, in Cagayan de Oro for Mindanao, and in Cebu for the Visayas.
Formerly called as the Courts of First Instance and the Justice of the Peace Courts, the trial court system in the country are now composed of courts of the first level and courts of the second level. First-level trial courts are the Metropolitan Trial Courts, Municipal Trial Courts, and Municipal Circuit Trial Courts. Under Batas Pambansa 129, or the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980, the second-level courts have the power to try civil cases subject to a jurisdictional amount below which the case will fall under the jurisdiction of the courts of the first level. The second-level courts also have the jurisdiction to try criminal cases punishable by a penalty greater than 6 months of imprisonment. The Supreme Court may also designate certain branches of the regional trial courts to handle exclusively criminal cases, juvenile and domestic relation cases, agrarian cases, some urban land reform cases, and other special cases that are in need of a speedy administration of justice as determined by the Supreme Court. RTCs also have the power to exercise appellate jurisdiction over all cases decided by the Metropolitan Trial Courts, Municipal Trial Courts, and the Municipal Circuit Trial Courts in their respective territorial jurisdictions. On the same level as the first-level courts are the Sharia Circuit Courts or SCC, while on the same level as the second-level courts are the Sharia District Courts or SDC.
The Sharia courts are courts that have been created by law in order to address the regime of personal laws under the Muslim Code of Personal Laws. These are very specific and specialized courts, and they involve judges who are trained in Sharia law. And this would be limited only to specific jurisdictions.
The Sandigan Bayan is a special appellate collegial trial court established by Presidential Decree 1486. It is equal in rank to the Court of Appeals and is considered a third-level court. The Sandigan Bayan's jurisdiction is over cases involving graft and corruption and other offenses committed by public officers and employees, including those in government-owned and controlled corporations. It is stationed in Manila. The Court of Tax Appeals is a special court of limited jurisdiction. It has the authority to decide cases involving criminal violation and collection of revenues under the National Internal Revenue Code and Tariff and Customs Code. It also has jurisdiction over cases involving local and real property taxes, which used to be with the Regional Trial Court and the Court of Appeals. The Court of Tax Appeals also serves as a venue to expedite the disposition of tax evasion cases, to increase revenues for government to fund social services, food, oil, education, and infrastructure subsidies.